Absolutely. I mean, I think you can play with the ratios of protein, fat, and carbohydrates in your diet and find a ratio that works well for you. I mean, I think the one thing the studies have shown is that if you're aiming for keto, which really is, less than 5 or 10% of your intake from carbohydrates, where you're actually using fat as energy and producing ketones, that's pretty much unsustainable for people long term. It's not palatable and it's not healthy, and you'd be having a pretty fiber deficient diet, and fiber is something that we're all lacking in and require more of, that's associated with so many beneficial health outcomes. So keto as such, the evidence has shown that it is not sustainable for people, and people drift back to eating higher amounts of carbohydrate as they sort of consume more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. But yes, yeah.
Sorry, are you able to provide the evidence that you've just cited there so that I can share it with the audience? Because my previous speaker would say that the evidence shows that it is sustainable and it is healthy and there are no negative long-term benefits.
Yeah, I'll send you some references. No problem. I'm not aware of long-term keto studies. That's the problem. I think there's longer-term studies around lower carbohydrate intakes, but they'll be sort of somewhere between the 10 to 40% carbohydrate intake compared to sort of 50 to 60% of what we're normally consuming. And you only need to look at the Scientific Advisory Committee on Nutrition, the SACN committee, to look at their report on low carbohydrate diets for diabetes. I think it was out 3 or 4 years ago. That will reiterate what I've said. I have no problem in having a diet composed of lower carbohydrates, and you can absolutely do that by using a plant-based diet, and that's actually been championed by a researcher called Professor David Jenkins, who did train in the UK but works at the University of Toronto, and he created the sort of Eco-Atkins diet, as it's known. So it's lower in carbohydrate, but it's centered around healthy plant foods, and you're prioritizing plant sources of protein and fats, of which there's plentiful. So avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, pulses, etc. So it's perfectly possible to compose a diet that meets those requirements for macronutrients. But I haven't seen a plant-based keto. I think there are groups online, but it would be very hard work to do that for both an animal-based and a plant-based diet longer term.
Yeah, sure.